Welcome, everyone, to episode 2 of Hardin Local with Hardin County Government. Today, we're talking about something that affects every single person in Hardin County, and that's our roads. Whether you're driving to work, taking kids to school, or heading to the grocery store, you're using nearly 600 miles of county roads that are maintained year-round by our county road department. And with the winter approaching, we've already had our first snows. This is a perfect time to talk about both the end of paving season and the comprehensive snow removal plan that keeps us safe when the weather turns. So this is a really important timing for this conversation. A lot of people don't realize that asphalt plants actually shut down for the winter. You can't pave roads year round. So if you've been wondering why a particular road didn't get paved today, well, we'll explain that process and how it works and what to expect come spring. Plus, we're going to talk about what happens when the snow starts falling and why some roads get plowed before others. Today, we're joined by 2 experts from our county road department. Dwight Morgan is our road supervisor, and Michael Steck is our assistant road supervisor. These are the folks who oversee the daily operations of maintaining these roads, the 600 miles of roads, coordinating new snow removal, managing emergency repairs, and keeping Hardin County moving. And of course, we have Brian Walker, Hardin County's communications officer, joining us as well to connect some of these road topics to the broader county communications and services. So let's go ahead and get everybody introduced. We have Dwight Morgan, who's down next to Brian. Good to see you, Dwight.
Good to see you, Phil.
And Michael Steck, up in next to me. Good to see you, Michael.
Thank you.
And Brian Walker. Good to see you again, sir.
Thank you.
So Brian, before we dive into the road department specifics, can you give us some context about how this fits into the bigger picture of county communications and keeping residents informed?
Well, quite frankly, a lot of people just really don't understand which roads are which. Is it a county road? Is it a private road? Is it a city road? Is it a state road? Is it what? And these gentlemen obviously know exactly what's going on because they have to be responsible for that day in and day out. One of the biggest misconceptions I used to hear before I even joined county government was, well, 62 and Dixie run right through the city of E-Town. That must be E-Town's. No, there's a lot of misconception about which roads are which. Just because they sit where they are, they're not necessarily what you think they are. And the other thing is, it's not magic. You're, subject to the weather, material availability. You have emergencies come up, things happen that, a sinkhole opens up. You can't plan or budget for that. And I think these gentlemen do a fine job. I think that they know exactly what they're doing. And I think that they probably don't get as much support from the community at large as we wish they would. And I hope that today they can kind of explain more about what they do, and maybe people can get a better understanding about it, because quite frankly, unless you know about something, you just don't know about it. So I mentioned to Dwight this morning, salt's not a magic cure-all. It doesn't fix everything, and he can explain why it isn't always the best option.
Okay. I know before we got started, you had mentioned when we talked off camera that you wanted to mention the 9th ambulance being put into service.
Yes.
You might cover that real quick.
So that was a week ago today. That was put into full service in White Mills area. It'll cover the western part of Hardin County. There's been a map put up of that. And in our last podcast, we talked about that. That map was put up as well. So that's our 5th area to be served by that. It's stationed at the West Hardin Fire Department number 2, which is formerly the White Mills Fire Department station. They merged earlier this year. It was put into service last Monday morning about 9 o'clock, and within 10 minutes, they had an emergency call out, and they had 4 runs that first day. And we do believe we're going to have a lot more runs because there hasn't been an ambulance down there ever before. So when people got hurt or injured, pretty traditional, they just put them in their car and drove them to the hospital because they knew it was going to take so long for an ambulance to get there. So we're really blessed to be able to have that out there now, and that's the 9th full time in Hardin County.
Okay. I think the other topic you wanted to mention briefly was the filing deadline if you want to run for office.
Yes. So obviously, Brian Smith, our county clerk, can answer all those questions much better. But go to his website, go to our county government website, And you've got basically just about a month left if you want to file to run for office. There's more to it than just walking in and signing a piece of paper. Some of these you actually have to have witnesses and a petition to say, we'd like for this person to run for office. And there is a fee depending on what you're running for. It's not free to just come in and file for office. So what they can't do is answer specific explanations about what you have to do if you get elected. Let's just say you became the jailer. They can't tell you what the jailer does. That's something you have to study and understand on your own. And there's a lot of resources available to the state for that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get started. We'll move on to segment 1, which I'm calling paving season and road projects. So, Dwight, let's start with something a lot of residents might not know. Why is December the right time to talk about the end of paving season? What happens to road pavement in the winter? Road paving in the winter?
Well, typically it ceases after Thanksgiving because of the ground temperature. So typically your ground temperatures get too cold, or your daily ambient temperatures are too low to pave. Now, that being said, if we have some warm days that are above 40 degrees, they can do some paving. But typically they'll shut down and at a point where they've paved all year long. They'll start sometime around early spring, and again finish up around Thanksgiving. So they've got a lot of equipment that needs repairs, and then, so they'll typically they'll shut down and get those repairs done during the cold winter months, and then be ready to start back up in the springtime.
Okay. So it sounds like, and I'm just saying this for residents that don't know that, but maybe they think, why didn't they pave the road? They were working on roads around me and then just stopped. And I think that's probably the answer to the question, the end of the season, and then you do maintenance. And when do you guys start back up?
Yeah, so I think typically when that temperature falls below 50 degrees, then it kind of will be dependent on the weather again. And it has to be up above 40 degrees for them to lay asphalt.
Okay. Which I don't know if you guys had this list together, but which roads got paved in 2025? Maybe the bigger projects, and which ones are on the list that are bigger projects coming down the queue over the next several months?
Well, I do have a list of roads, but to tell you the specific roads,
We definitely know the number of miles.
we had about 25 miles of roads on our list to do. Completed roads. I'm just going to throw some out here, and these may not have been completely done from one end to the other. I'll give you, for instance, Middle Creek Road was one. Chaparral Drive, which is right off of Middle Creek Road, that was one that got completed. Middle Creek did not get totally done because of the way it was submitted through the engineer. The engineer, our previous engineer, submitted for that particular road for a particular type of funding for that particular road, and it was for partial portion of the road. So I have actually come along and resubmitted for the other portion of that road. We've got Blue Ball and Tunnel Hill Road, which are flex fund roads. Tunnel Hill is just about completed. Blue Ball, I hope we have the weather to do that. If we do have it, that'll be our last road to get paved for this fiscal year. Then we have Brizendine Road, that's out off of help me out, Michael. What's the road up in it's New Salem Church
Off
Road?
New Salem.
Yeah, so all
Yeah.
New Salem Church. That road got completed. It was 1.5 miles long, and that was a pretty good sized road for a county road. We had a few here close to the shop off of Bacon Creek Road in a subdivision that was completed, Flat Rock, Fieldstone Way, and Granite Drive. Flint Hill Road, which was a road that we had put in for, I think this was the third year that was part of our rubber modified asphalt grant. We finally got approved for that and got half of that paved. So, and the most that they'll do is basically 1 mile. That's what they did. That was about $125,000 worth that was up and above what we would normally have. So, let's see. So, let's
And
see.
maybe also, and we can pivot a little, and maybe you could talk a little bit about what's the process to make the list to be repaved. Also, like what goes into scheduling. I think Brian said there's sometimes emergency repairs that bump something to the top of the list. So it's kind of like a moving target, I think.
Yes. So we have for the last, I'm going to say the last several years, we have done an internal scoring of all the county roads. So we'll like this. Let's see. I guess this past year we reevaluated the roads. Okay. Let's see. Did we do that in January, Michael? Or was it the year before?
It would have been this past January.
Okay. So where we go out and we'll send out 2 different crews on the same road, and they'll score those roads. And we have a scoring system from 1 to 10. And so we'll take those scores and look at them and compare the 2 teams, if you will. And if they're very, very close, then we'll take whatever's kind of in between. We'll just say one crew scored it as a 10 and the other one scored it as a 9. Then we're going to just score it as a 10, which is 10 being worse. 10 is a bad score, 1 being a good score. So 1's going to be a road that's just gotten paved. Okay, it's going to rate as a 1. So so what we've been working on for the last several years has obviously been our 10s and working back down. We've done our 10s, our 9s, 8s, and we're typically right now we're kind of in the 6 and somewhere around the 6 number of going through some of those roads. Now, depending on the amount of homes that are on the road, whether it's a through road, it'll get a different consideration. So if it's a through road, obviously it's going to be more a priority than a road that typically will not see but just a few cars on it. So so we go through and look at that. That's the way we have done it. So currently we have just contracted with the Lincoln Trail Ad District to do our road evaluations. The engineer that's there worked for the State Highway Department and has a thorough knowledge on road service, asphalt service, and so they have a scoring system. They've sent out a group of individuals to go out and to evaluate our roads. So we're actually now we're having a third party do it versus your road department doing it. So it kind of gives you more of a unbiased, if you will, which I don't think we had any biases whatsoever. But they're going out and they are real close on bringing that list back to us. So what I've seen so far as the county and the overall pavement score, if you will, we're at about 70%. So, which is a good thing. I just got back from a vacation that I can tell you that I was down south, which you don't have a lot of freezing thawing going on, but I think Michael has been several places in some of his travels, and we typically see that we're a little more spoilt in our area because of how good our roads actually are compared to other states, other counties, and so we may not have the smoothest or what we think is the smoothest. It's very subjective, in our minds, as far as what typically most of the people that call in, they only drive on what's in front of their house and what gets them back and forth to work or to school or whatever. And when you look at Hardin County, we're so spread out. Our geography is so much different across the county. Where you're in Glendale, it's flat. You go over out Lebanon Junction or go to western Hardin County, and you'll find that we have some very steep slopes in those areas. So, which causes some other issues. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, we thank you for that. And yeah, Hardin County is one of the largest counties in the state, isn't it? And a lot of roads there. But I wanted to address some critical misconceptions to address, and I think this is important. And either Michael or Dwight, whoever wants to answer these, can. Can you explain which roads are county's responsibilities and which aren't? Because I think there's a lot of confusion about that. Just like Dixie Highway within E-Town, state road, not a city road, or a county road.
Typically, what you'll find, we have very few roads that are striped. So most of your roads that have stripes on them will be either a state highway or a city's street. So we only have very few that have any striping on them.
All state roads have a route number. So US 31W, Highway 1375, Highway 1135, 210. Anything has a number like that, that's going to be a state highway. All county roads have green name signs. All of our roads in the county's maintenance have a green identification name sign. All of your Elizabethtown city streets, I believe, have white name signs with black letters. And I think Radcliffe city streets are going to have blue name signs with black letters or white letters. I'm not sure, but you can't take my word for it on the cities. But I know that the city of Radcliffe is blue, the city of Elizabethtown is white, and our county roads are green.
I didn't know that there were the green signs like that. But I guess the point is, just because the road is inside a city or somewhere in the county, like even I guess Highway 86, out in Cecilia, it's a state road, right?
It's a state road.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't think many people know that. I think another misconception is when people are talking about the roundabouts, which Brian always loves when I bring up the roundabouts.
How many of those have you guys put in yourselves, Michael and Dwight?
None.
So, but when people say, I can't believe the county spends all that money on roundabouts. Guess what? We have spent $0 on roundabouts.
Yeah, and that's all been federal money also. So I don't know if any of that has to be matched or not. I'm not really sure on that part, but the majority of it is federal funding.
Okay. Well, those were some of the misconceptions, and I guess one of the biggest points on that is county has no control over how state or city agencies maintain their roads. So if you're watching this, you're getting aggravated about some road issue, make sure you know who's responsible for it before you point fingers. How are road projects prioritized? I mean, you talked about it early. If it's a through street, I guess traffic volume, road condition. So I guess we've already answered that question, so we'll just move on. Do you have any major projects planned in 2025 that you know off the top of your house heads?
As far as paving, we've applied for, I think, a little over $2 million worth of LARP funding. So that's just a different word for discretionary that we've been very fortunate to have. And the last several years, we've gotten several $1 million worth of funding through that, but it's being more regulated by your legislature. Whereas
Is that at the state level or national?
that's the state level. So I kind of see it more being, it used to, it was kind of left up to the governor's office, but it's really been left for the legislature to oversee. They've got more hands-on, if you will. The procedure has changed a little bit. It's a little bit more. There's a little bit more to do. Whereas used to, I would just go through and put the roads in. Mike would take a picture at the beginning and the ending of the roads. Now we have to take a photo every 300 feet. So if we're doing a mile long, you divide up, over 5,200 feet, by 300, and that's how many photos you're going to have on one road. So I applied for again probably close to 20 roads. If I was just guessing, don't hold me to that, but it's probably pretty close to that. But it was over $2 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Well, I'm going to segment over to the winter snow removal plan. And yeah, if you do have more information on that plan, just get it to Brian and I'll publish it out there later. But I want to keep us moving here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the winter weather when the snow starts falling and what residents should expect. So how many trucks and crews do you guys have that handle, and I keep saying 600 miles of roads. Is that right? Is that an accurate number?
Yeah, it's pretty close. 500 and let's see, 569 miles. I want to go back to that on that LARP funding.
Okay, go back to that.
I got you some totals on that. I think
Okay,
I've got
cool.
22 roads. I was a little off on my numbers. A little over $1 million worth of LARP funding, and the mileage about 11, a little over 11 miles that I've put in for. So
okay, that's good to know. Thank you for doing that too. People may not say it very often, but I'll say it. We appreciate what you guys do for the county, and well-traveled. I'm aware that our roads are significantly better than a lot of other areas too. But let's move on to the snow topic. How many trucks and crews do you guys have that handle these 600 miles, and what type of? Because I know that Brian and me said the county does not have the staff to run trucks 24/7 when something happens.
that's correct.
But
So
just talk about that for a little bit.
So I'm going to let Michael and we had another person in the engineering office back a few years ago. We needed to update our snow routes. So they spent a lot of time. I want to give Michael all the credit on this. He and Nick Dowford. They spent a lot of hours going through each snow route and make it the most efficient in doing those in terms of travel time and that sort of thing. So I'm going to let Michael kind of take this one and explain a little bit of that. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, well, thanks.
Michael.
I don't deserve all the credit, but thank you. So you were asking, right now we got about 15 trucks that have snow equipment that can be utilized. And counting myself and Dwight, as of today, we have 17 licensed drivers. That's counting myself and Dwight. So we always got to take into account somebody may be off on vacation or under the weather and out and that type of stuff. And then, like I said, right now we're fortunate to be fully staffed, which is not always the case. So we're fully staffed, about 17 drivers, 15 trucks in total. That's 6 one-ton four-wheel drive trucks and 1 single axle dump truck, and the rest of those are going to be tandem big trucks. We do have the county divided up into 5 different snow areas, and within those 5 different snow areas, there's 2 routes per area that we call an A and a B route. So with reworking those several years ago, we tried to come up with the most logistical way to tackle these 900 and some odd different roads we have. And with that being said, we go to some fairly remote parts of the county. So depending on the storm and how things are going, if it's an instance like it was last week when we got just an inch and a half of snow, and the weather was going to work in our favor as the day progressed. And we had pre-treated our priorities the day before. What we did was we sent the drivers out on those snow routes, and some of those snow routes will take my drivers to a further point away in their route in the beginning. And the reason for that being is if they can get out away from the barn and start working their snow route headed back toward town as the day progresses, if they run low on material or have problems with their truck or whatever, they're closer to the shop. So if they have to get a reload or whatever, they aren't wasting 30-minute drive coming in here from Upton to reload just to go all the way back to Upton. So hopefully they've started in Upton and they've worked their way closer to E-Town. So they're only commuting from Glendale to come here and get a reload. That's the way that some of that's structured. So sometimes some of the people closer to the city may not see us till a little bit later in our snow route. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. So I guess we're kind of talking about the priority system, and I think that's interesting to people. How do you decide which roads get cleared first? I don't know if you want to talk about that for a few seconds.
Well, it's very dependent on the storm and how stuff's going. Like if we have a snow like we did the other day when it was just in a 4-hour time frame, it was in and out and gone. We're going to wait till a lot of that snow has hit the ground before we start. And the reason being is we only have 15 trucks out there. We want to be able to come in here and hit all of our roads in a shift before we have to go home. So typically about somewhere between 12 to 15 hours, depending on how the snow is, we can cover about every road that we've got, barring no major breakdowns.
Just to interrupt for a second, Michael, can you explain why you can't just keep going? You said there's a shift and you have to go home. That's not just because you're like, all right, boys, let's quit. There's a legal reason.
Well, so in the state of emergency, I think we surpassed some of the legalities of the CDL laws. But, I've been doing this job I've been employed here for 19 years. I drove a truck on a snow route for at least 10 of those years. and I can tell you that after about 12 hours in a plow truck, that your fatigue gets so bad that your productivity goes way downhill. And when your fatigue gets bad, you get more drivers in the ditch or more stuff tore up. And it's just been, since we went to this system, I feel like we've had better productivity for the hours worked, and we've had less of our equipment get torn up or damaged, because we're spending most of our time in the daylight. The other morning we came in at 4 a.m. So we got started. By the time we got here at 4 a.m. and got our trucks kind of loaded and warmed up and out the gate, we were looking at probably 4:30 to 5 o'clock. So they did drive in the dark for a couple of hours, but at that point, the majority of their shift was going to be in the daylight where they can see. And that's a big aspect of keeping our trucks on the road. So if we're out there just all the time and we have trucks in the ditch in the middle of the night, we're wasting our time, tax dollars, and everything else.
Mhm.
This has worked out for us, and I think we're going to continue to do it in this manner. But like I said, every storm is a little different. If it was to snow over the course of 2 days, we may not get to some of those secondary streets until later on in the snowstorm. So it's
Okay.
very dependent on how the weather falls, the accumulation rates, I guess, if you want to call it. I'm not a meteorologist, but
Mhm.
everything's going to make a variable. And we kind of just watch the weather the best we can and educate ourselves on what it's going to do, and then just try and make the appropriate decision, not only for the safety of the travelers, but for the cost of the taxpayer too. I mean, salt is, Dwight and I were talking about earlier, salt's almost $110 a ton. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we used I had that number earlier, 125 ton on that little snow event on last Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
So I figured it up. I don't know what we spent. What did I tell you, Dwight? $25,000.
Yeah, labor and everything. Yes.
Yeah. So $25,000 on one little 4-hour snow event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's good information to know. I don't think many people know. I mean, you guys know it, but the average citizen doesn't. And since you brought up salt, that was our next question. Talk a little bit about salt. Some people think you just salt the road and the snow melts, but I don't think it's that simple, is it?
No, it's not. It's all temperature related. So once the temperatures get below 20 degrees, it's not as efficient. Does it help? Does it still help melt? Sure, it does. The biggest factor is whether or not we get any sun or not. If we get some sun along, even at temperatures down at 0, if we get some sun, that sun's going to help heat up that asphalt, because if you get a little bit of that asphalt showing, then it's going to draw that heat in, and then your salt's going to help melt that. But if it stays shaded, and I think we talked about this earlier, Brian. We have some areas that it's not. If you look at the city, and you'll get a lot of city streets that are clear, or state highways that are clear. Well, look at the canopy around them. It's wide open. But when you get out in some of the fringes out in the county, we have so much canopy overhead that it shades the road, so you don't get that melting effect, and the road stays colder. That's the other thing; it stays colder. And we talked about our snow gates. Brian didn't realize that we had snow gates. We put up snow gates. So this will be our second year having those. A few years ago, we had something that happened out on the interstate. Interstate traffic got rerouted up the Fraser. They got routed from their GPS unit through the little town of Colesburg, which took semis up Upper Colesburg Road, which is a very, very, it's basically a single width highway. And we had a family from out of state that went off the road, and they were lucky they weren't killed. So we came along and we put up these snow gates. So once we have like last week. Michael shut those two roads, Upper Coastburg and Miller Road, down because of how treacherous they can become.
Well, and to speak to that, what'd you see when you went out there to close them, Michael?
On Miller Road, I went out there first thing at 4 o'clock in the morning that morning to shut that gate, and encountered a gentleman that had already made his try at the hill and did not succeed. So unfortunate from him, but luckily he was okay. There was no issues, and we got him. He got the help he needed. I was able to contact him, or make contact with him, and it was all good. But I closed it after that until the following day when I could. Once all of our other routes had been hit, I sent a crew out there with some with a skid steer loader to make sure that those hills were clean and clear of ice and snow, and we reopened them at that point. So I mean, it is an objective of ours to get those roads open, but they're going to be of last priority and take specialized equipment once everything else is cleaned up.
That makes sense too. Just some realistic expectations about what should residents expect during a snow event. I think we've kind of been talking about that in different steps, but I know one thing that's probably a problem is when people, like, if there is a snow, if they leave their car on the side of the road or in a cul-de-sac, does that present a challenge for you guys with snow removal when it happens?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Were you waiting on me to answer? Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, if we can keep the cars off the street, that makes our job a lot easier. And not only that, to the people that park their cars on the street, if you have a snowplow driver to remove, let's say, a couple inches of snow on the street, and your cars are parked on the side of the road, when he comes down through there with the snowplow, where do you expect the snow to go? It's going to go up against the side of your car. So, yeah, that is a challenge. It's really kind of isolated. I mean, I don't feel like we have a huge problem with it, but neighborhoods, the urban part of the county it does become an issue. It's sometimes.
Okay. Well, that was something that Brian and me had talked about, just to remind people, that there is snow.
Some of those roads are pretty narrow, and you've got a cul-de-sac that may not be large. It's not built for turning around giant pieces of equipment. It's for cars. And then people stack their cars at the end of the road. Didn't we have a gentleman have to back all the way up a road last year because there was no room because people parked their cars out?
Yeah, I mean, we have several roads in the county that turnarounds are limited, especially when you're trying to plow them with a tandem axle dump truck. So backing up is a skill that everybody needs to have in their resume, but when somebody's blocking your turnaround, that can be very aggravating, especially if it's late in the day and you've been plowing snow all day. But yeah, I mean, just try and be mindful. If anybody out there is watching and you have the ability to not have your car parked on the curb or in a cul-de-sac, and you know it's going to snow, it would be helpful to us if you could get it off the road.
Mm-hmm. Also, how does Text My Gov or Rave, either one of them, for different snow alerts? Which one do you guys use, or do you use them both?
It's going to be for Brian, probably.
Yeah, that's going to be a Brian question.
The Rave's usually more for emergencies, something imminent like a natural disaster, something endangering people. But Text My Gov is great. You can go to sign up for that at our website, hardincountyky.gov, and that's pretty general. Hey, the trash collection's delayed, or there's something because of the holidays, or what have you. But you'll get some alerts on road conditions and things like that through there, and it's free for you to use. It's something that the county pays for, but it's just it's pretty invaluable. So we really recommend you get those. It's a great way to stay informed without having to put any effort into it.
All righty. So Text My Gov is a good one to go with for these type of alerts if you guys ever send them out for snow removal or things like that. So also, just wanted to say to the audience, anybody watching, drop a comment and let us know what your biggest question about snow removal is, if you have, or even let us know if you signed up for Rave Alert yet or for Text My Gov, because those are all important things. So let's move over to inside the county road department segment, and let's talk about what it's like to work in the road department. Dwight, Michael, walk us through a typical day. What does it look like day to day working at the Hardin County Road Department?
You want me to take that one too?
I'm gonna let you go first, and then I'll finish up.
So I feel like we're structured into about 4 different areas here, or maybe 5 if you count mechanics. So we have an in-house shop here where we maintenance all of our equipment and trucks, as well as some of the other county agencies like animal control, the library, buildings and grounds. We maintenance their vehicles. So we have a couple guys that do mechanic work on a daily basis. We have an individual that does signs on a daily basis, and by that he's replacing out faded signs or vandal signs, or just somebody ran over a sign. And he, not only that, he does other things for us too. He'll do he has some inspections that he does on a monthly basis regarding railroad crossings and things like that, just making sure that everything's in good shape. So we have those two departments, and then we have a crew that primarily does most of our dirt and ditch work, or special projects, if you will. That's a crew of about 4 guys. And then we have a crew that does our roadside mowing, and mowing of vertical vegetation, so tree limbs or any aerial vegetation they mow with that boom mower. We try and run that thing year round. It takes about 3 people to run that. And then we have another crew that trims a lot of trees in the wintertime, and they do some pavement patching and stuff like that for us in the summertime on smaller spot patching, if you will.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to just kind of hit on that. So, we talked about that overhead canopy and some of the problems that it poses in the wintertime as far as allowing significant sunlight in to warm up your roads. So we try to be proactive. We could just stay out, I think, 5 days a week, just doing overhead canopy and removing trees and tree limbs, and that is what helps us more than anything. I think that crew has really helped a whole lot on a lot of our roads. Stovall that we're currently, we've got a subcontracting crew out there working on one of our road slides like right now. So we went out and cleared some of those trees, but we've done a lot of overhead canopy on that road as well. So just being proactive in that has helped us quite a bit.
So the reason I was asking what a typical day looks like, and thank you for those answers, was just because I was wondering about career opportunities. Are you guys hiring at all, or do you have open positions?
Currently we are at capacity. I can't hire anymore. I only have 19 on our payroll, and so that's what we have currently. But we have really struggled to get there. So we're pretty fortunate right now to have I feel like a good group of people. Several of them have been here for a long time. But we do have, I will say this, we do have several that are close to retiring. And so there's going to be some opportunities here in the future for future employment. So.
And while you brought that up, we have, I think there's at least 3, if not 4 gentlemen that have worked here, less than 6 months, Dwight?
That's right. Yes.
And they saw their first snow their first snow event was last Tuesday, and those 4 guys they trained. I allowed them the time and set aside the time for them to train and run their routes, and everybody did a phenomenal job. I know it wasn't a great heavy deal of snow last Tuesday, but that was one of the few times I can remember that we sent out our whole fleet and nobody's been in the ditch or we didn't have hardly any problems to speak of. So I'm going to go ahead and knock on my wooden desk here. Hope that that's
No wreckers. So
yeah. I hope that's a good sign for the rest of the winter to come. But anyway, I just wanted to take a second and if those
Yeah.
4 guys see this, just tell them they did a good job for starting out. That was we did good.
Yeah, and that's good to do that. And that was kind of leads into my last question on this segment. Was just kind of like, what's the culture like at the road department, and specifically, what do you both find rewarding about this sort of work?
I think for myself, I'm just going to jump in here real quick. It's just working with a group of people that I get to work with every day. I spend as much time with them as I do my wife. So I think I think I could call anybody here at the road department if I personally needed something, and they would be there to help me. So I feel like we're just a pretty close knit family. I'm sure probably some of the guys, somebody has to make decisions, and working with my staff, I just feel like the greatest people in the world to work with, and they're just great individuals.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
what
we
about
do.
you, Michael?
We
What's
have,
your most?
we have a great team. You can always appreciate the fact that some of my friends used to tell me I have a thankless job. We do a lot of stuff that just kind of people take for granted that they're just going to have the roads and the streets, and somebody's just going to take care of them for them, and that's what we get to do. So it's rewarding to me whenever you run across those certain individuals that do give you the thank you, and then the occasional letters that come in the mail here throughout the year for where we may have weeded around somebody's mailbox that the last guy missed or something when they mowed, or trimmed a tree limb that'd been blocking somebody's view for so long, and you don't even expect it, and you get a thank you card in the mail or something, and then we'll post those up in the break room for the guys to see. That's what makes it, those kinds of things make it seem like you're really doing your job. So
That's good. Yeah. So viewers, anybody out there, don't forget to thank you might be real good at thanking the police or other people. Don't forget to thank your road department people too. So let's move on to the last segment, which is just about community engagement and education. And let's just make this practical for anybody that watches this video. If someone sees a pothole or a road size of damage and they want to report it, how should they do that?
They can go in and do that. Use their text.gov to report those types of things. So
that's the best way.
They can call the office.
That's really the best way to do it. And I will say this, and it's gotten better. I think we've done a lot better job communicating what's going on with our snow removal. We've got every road is covered. Obviously, somebody has to be first, and somebody gets to be last. And Michael he and Nick Douthit went through, and we have a process in which we go out and we clean those roads to be the most efficient. And so it may be a little while before we get to you, but we will get to you. Now, I would think it would be very unlikely that we have missed a road. But if we have, you can call the office we don't get as many calls as we used to, but just because your road hadn't gotten done, calling the office isn't going to get you any quicker. So, but obviously, if we miss something, then we obviously need to know about it. But
And I guess
here's the other thing I do want to mention. You talked about fire and police and even our ambulance department. Being a road employee is a very, very dangerous occupation. And, we're typically our guys are standing out beside roadways. And as you all know, driver inattention is being more of a problem every day. So I would just like for everybody to keep in mind that, our guys, they don't get hazardous duty pay, which I feel like honestly they should be paid hazardous duty pay because they're out there putting their lives on the line each and every day. If you're out beside a roadway, you're putting your life on the line. So I just like for the public just to keep that in mind.
okay, and that's something that a lot of people probably don't think about. And I think there was even an incident in LaRue County last year, wasn't there, with somebody that
Yeah, I think
State highway.
it was state highway.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then there was one out on the I think on the Bluegrass Parkway up maybe towards Lexington. The gentleman got killed.
Yeah. So that's a good reminder for everybody that watches this. And even if you're watching this, to just remind your kids and your parents or whoever, just to pay attention, especially when you're on a road where people are working. But we do thank you guys for all the work that you do. And so the best way I just want to make sure to sum up the best way to get information to you guys, like I said, if there's like a pothole or if a roadside's down or if you think they missed it, it sounds to me like you said getting on the Hardin County Gov's website and signing up for that Text My Gov program is probably the most seamless way to get that done. And then also for bigger issues, maybe make a phone call.
I would agree with that. Yes.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
And obviously, if there's an emergency, like a giant sinkhole opened up, call 911.
Absolutely.
There's a hierarchy on that. Of course, thank God that doesn't happen all that often.
Well, trees going down. We I don't think we talked about our on call. So we have somebody that's on call 24/7, 365 days a year or so. If there is the biggest thing I'm going to say is probably our trees. When you have a tree that goes down across the road, absolutely, you need to call 911, and dispatch will get in contact with our on-call person. So,
Okay. Does that happen very often?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
And that's in all weather.
Typically, every week we'll have. It'll either be a stop sign. Stop signs. You need to report those so we can get those put back up immediately. Trees. I would say I would say that it's pretty much you can average one a week on trees. Something on a tree.
But that just shows how fast you guys get them down, because I personally never ran up on a tree and never been had my travels blocked by a tree. So it just shows how quick you guys are.
Yeah, and I've told this story a lot of times, but I was covering call for somebody on a weekend, and it was a Bluebird Day, and I went to the golf course with some friends, and lo and behold, I got a telephone call. We had a tree down on, I think it was on Bewley Hollow Road, and like I say, the wind wasn't blowing or anything. It just, it's just the way it happens. So it can happen anytime.
I know I've knocked a few trees over out on the farm back when I was a kid driving the 4-wheeler around. Yeah, so I can only imagine. Probably a ton of different ways a tree can fall down. So what we've covered here and what we wish residents to understand is, obviously asphalt plants don't operate year round. And we didn't mention this, but I think this is pretty self-explanatory. County can't clear driveways.
We've had that question. Somebody said they had a really long driveway and it's off a county road. Why couldn't they plow it for them? And I said, well, because it's not a county road.
Yeah, I guess that's how that ended up in my notes. 'cause
No,
I
I
think we did.
I think what we could do, since we've got our, what's your title, Brian?
Communications officer.
Yeah, I think you're more like public relations. I think that would be a good job for you to go out and clear people's driveway.
You'd have to get me I don't have a CDL, so maybe like a lawnmower with a little push on the front of it, something like that.
Just for goodwill, just going out.
Yeah, just to be a good guy.
Yeah,
On your sidewalk or something.
Get you a shovel.
there you go.
Big shovel.
Get you a skid loader from all equipment. I'll make a plug right there. So, and then also you wish residents understood also as well, I guess 600 miles of roads in Hardin County, which is a lot with limited staff, especially when it's snowing.
But
And
if you think about that snowing, times it by 2, so you're looking at almost 1,200 miles of road.
I hadn't thought of it that way.
Go both
But
ways.
that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just one road, one big plow, you know.
No, so that's right. 1,200 miles. That's like driving where to Miami and back, or drive to
Just think
Miami.
about how long it would take you to drive 1,200 miles, 1,200 miles and driving at less than probably 20 miles an hour.
Well, that would take a lot. That's a lot of hours when you have that all up. Then you guys have a priority system that sounds very well thought through. That we discussed, and when it comes to how you maintain the roads and also how you clear the roads when there is a storm, and also we discussed how there's different agencies maintaining different roads, whether state, county, city, and also we talked about how every storm is unique when it comes to snow removal, and Michael gave us a great example of that during this video. So if you're just catching the end of this, I'll be publishing a shorter version that's kind of edited. We'll edit out a lot of the pauses and some of the data that is repetitive. And you got to watch this thing from the beginning and get that data from you. And how to stay informed, Brian, did you want to review that? How to stay informed when it comes to road project closures, winter weather?
They're great about pushing that information out to everybody, but they always let me know, and I get that out on all of our social media. If there's something substantial coming up, like a project we know is coming in advance, we're going to get that out for you as well. And that's something that they've been great, even the short time I've been here, about telling me, hey, we've got this happening and we need to let people know about it. HardinCountyKY.gov. I would really encourage you to watch our website, follow our social media pages. And I did want to throw in, we've got job openings, deputy jailer, EMT, paramedic, paramedic PT, and 911 telecommunicator. Those jobs are all open right now, and you can apply for those on the website.
All right. And another thing that you can do to prepare for winter weather, if you're watching, is to consider buying yourself a weather radio. I think you can get them at Kroger for under $30 or almost anywhere, and that way, if your power does go out, you still have a way to know what's going on. The biggest, I think, a big takeaway is that county government wants to be transparent and responsive. If you have questions, there are people ready to help you there. You just need to know who to ask. And if you don't, start with Brian Walker. And, because transparency really does start with communication. So we thank you guys. Big thank you to Dwight and to Michael.
Yeah.
From our county roads. We thank you for everything that you do every day. We thank you for joining us. And we also thank you, Brian Walker, for being here to help connect the dots on county communications.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And this is exactly what our Hardin County Government monthly series is all about, giving you direct access to the people who serve our community and make sure you know how to stay informed and get involved. So next month on January 9th, I think that's the tentative date, we'll be joined by the coroner's office and the quick response team. And we'll be talking about QRT's 1-year anniversary. And QRT is the quick response team. And they work with the community after drug overdoses occur. And if you've been seeing the posts on Hardin County page or on the QRT's website, they do alerts when there's more drug overdoses than normal, and so it should be a very informative monthly stream next month. So we hope you join us for that. Let me do a real quick check on the. Oops, sorry about that, Brian. Sorry. Let me check the comments real quick. Make sure that nobody said anything. All right, we have Keith Meganthal. This has been very informative. Thank you, Road Department, for all you do. And there's a couple other questions in here, which we've already gone over. So I'll just get you all those questions and who asked them, and you can answer those individually. But yeah, did anybody else, either one of you all, have anything that you think I missed that needed to be mentioned before we sign off?
Michael?
No, sir.
All right. Well, once
I
again, we
feel
thank
it's all pretty good, really. Phil, appreciate you doing this, and Brian,
Thank you.
and hopefully it's been informative for the public. So
Hey, find out about the color of those street signs for Radcliffe and E-Town. I'm pretty sure it's blue and white though.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm gonna ask around because yeah, that's something that I do nerd it. I don't nerd out on that specific topic, but you know, when it comes to signs, I do like to know
For
what they mean.
sure, all of ours are green.
hey, just hey, if it's still covered, just call Don Hill down at the city, okay?
All right, and with that, we'll leave y'all with that. Be sure to follow, share, and stay engaged. Transparency and communication start right here. Until then, stay safe, and especially with the winter weather that could be coming at any time, just make sure you stay informed with the weather. And we'll see you. Actually, we'll see you tomorrow on Hardin Local Weekly, which is our weekly podcast that covers, you know, happenings, events, and everything else that's going on. And we look forward to seeing you then. That stream starts tomorrow at 1 p.m. Have a great day, Hardin County.